I have right now, and vicious implosion.
User joined your channel.
In Oromancy.
Yeah.
You're pretty much set. Like, you just need the pull, and then all the CC and occultism, and then really, like, you can really do a lot of different builds. Like, you can pick up a lot of shit as effective.
It's almost like, basically, that's where you have your own personal, style come in.
Mm-hmm. I did not have it in my previous build, but I look at his now. I think Fort is really beneficial too if you can get off, guys.
Yeah, it's like an instant, like it's really quick. This is what I was using before, but I think I don't find myself being able to use I don't really use protected wings.
Yeah. I disagree with wings too, man. A lot of people keep arguing that case. That's not my tank
it's
line
good
job.
It's good if some people in the raid have it, because we need it, but I don't think every Skull Knight should be running it. It's kind of ineffective, stacking a bunch on top of each other, but...
Our job, guys, and here's how I see it. I get it. Like, you want to pop wings, but that's not your job. Our job is to get in and disrupt the line. And then we have immunity when they want to drop meteors and everything on our head. So I don't see the point of running protective wings in that front line. You're wasting an entire skill point for that. When you got good healers like Critzy that'll run it if we need to back up and we really are getting hammered. We can quick everyone in wings, that sort of shit.
The only thing I'll say about protective wings, like, you don't really need every front guy that dives into rocket. Maybe one or two, just to make it so, like, the guy that's following you, say you dive in and say I got protective wings, I come in behind you and I'll drop it. Therefore, like, say we're both wearing full plate. Therefore, we're totally immune to pretty much almost all physical attacks, and then we're immune against magic after invincibility's up. Therefore, we're drawing more fire after that point. While their mages are still trying to kill us here and there because we're high physical as is. Like, it's one of those kind of things. You don't need everyone to rock it, but it's a very effective tactic, like, to keep drawing their attention, because we're in front lines. The longer that we can survive, the less they're going to be targeting the guys behind us.
Yeah,
that's the way I look.
But then again, it can be disrupted. Any guy that comes in and trips you will disrupt it. That's again why I don't feel it's as effective as invincibility. Keep in mind, we're going on against 200 people. We've just charged in to make a dent. Someone somewhere is going to try to trip you. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, there's builds that are more effective for very large scale, and then like ones that are effective for like medium scale. Like, for example, Summon Wraith in the occultism tree. Like, that's a channel ability, and like, you just don't want to use that in a large scale.
You're a sitting duck when you have that out.
You just don't want to use that at all.
You can't move, you can't do anything. I'm also why do you have shield bash and shield slam, or bull rush and shield slam?
Yeah, it was for us to get the rest of the passes, but
and you still want to have at least one single rotation, Tui, for yourself. It's good to have that just in the cleanup. So if you've noticed last night, for those that were there, we were going against such amazing numbers. We'd do we're going to try whittle them down. We blink in, pop, everyone back. Flutes and loots, get your mana up, all that fun stuff while we range. But
yeah,
good God, man! And then basically we had the times where it was a full route, and that was when your shield slam and stuff coming. So you guys blink and you do your rotation. If you're getting heavy fire, you can go immune, but then you want a single target a few guys down.
And you need skill points to pick up Shield of Steel.
Yep.
The 700 increased defense. So I just take that stuff because after I've done my rotation, and if they start retreating, I just start running after people and slamming boastful roaring and like all that crap. Like, it isn't like, I just get them because I don't really like a lot of the other shit. But you could probably get rid of, you can get rid of one of them, and I think
I went for Olo's Hammer as well, which has a nice sweet AoE.
Hey, I'm playing with yours a wee bit, Tank, and let me know what you guys think. I'm going to link this up here shortly.
Hey, I got a quick question. I gotta go here, so I'm just gonna. It's a little off topic. What would you rather have for the group PvP, a Tomb Warden or my Spell Singer that I already have?
It honestly all depends on like.
Tomb Wardens are good for buffs, no?
Yeah, defense, aura, and songcraft. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I throw my burst out there when I have it because it's got long cooldowns on it, and then I have my songs for when I'm not bursting.
I mean, Tomb Wardens, aren't they buffers and kind of a CC'er?
It's song, defense, aura. That's all it is. So you're kind of tanky, and you got all the songs for the front line. And
you can get rid of Bull Rush in the defense tree for the Skull Knights if you want, because it's just a trip. Like,
It's
if
a
they're
trip
stunned.
and a silence as well.
Yeah.
Like,
An interrupt.
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to pick up those shield bass like single target things, you could take something else.
That's why
So
I said if Olo's hammer is a
take a look
trip
at
on
that
its
one,
own,
guys. I just dropped that up
can
here.
also
and
AoE damage.
Here's the few things I took out of tanks, and I wanted to go deeper in the passes of occultism for more damage, but obviously you can't unless you sacrifice too much. I took off summon wraiths. I don't feel like the silence or stillness is all that great for the 5 meter, and I don't think you really have time to get it off. I could be wrong. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It
I
also
always
breaks-
get it
I don't
off.
think yeah. So if you get it off, that then maybe take out the passive from Armancy, the 6 passive, and put that into stillness. But it still gives you the mobility from Comet's Boon, Blink. You get Thwart, you get Vicious, you get all that cool shit. But I really love Bear's Vigor, and
Yeah.
that's the only reason I pick up Olo's hammer to get the 9th passive, because
User
that
joined your
increase
channel.
to refreshment is huge. Like it gives you an additional 800. Like you guys can get as a Skull Knight to over 20,000 with that buff, with that passive right there.
See, the thing with that is, like, I've never noticed that ever saved my life. Like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Like, the extra health never made a difference ever, so I took it off, like, an extra 1,000 damage, or, I mean, health or whatever is, like...
Look
so
at
I
this
got rid
way.
of it.
This is the way I kind of break it down to. Depending on the numbers, say if it's 5 people, 1,000 health, with like say you maxed out defense could equal to about 1 extra second that you could potentially live. That's the way you got to break it down.
Yeah, that's
For
how I
5
look
people,
at it. It has
you gotta
given me
break
that
it down
extra second
second.
to get my immunity off,
Yeah.
having like 20,000 HP. But that's just my take. I mean, tanks build guys, I'd say either one of those would be brilliant. But tank, what's your rotation looking like? Do you blink or Comet's Boon in? Like, what do you do?
As long as the healers, like, it depends on the raid, like, if the healers have been doing really well and they can keep up with, like, usually, like Sedate said, if you're gonna blink in, give them, like, a second, like, say, I'm gonna initiate, and then give them, like, 1 or 2 seconds, like, to just be ready to move up on you, because there's, like, that range difference is huge, and, they can't heal us, like, like, that blink difference, but if you Comet's Boon in, like,
User
I like to
Comet
comment. I like to
Boons-
comment in and then blink out if I have to.
I would say
Okay.
Comet Spoon first, and then because that way your healers can follow you behind on your
Yeah.
Comet Boon. Then you teleport in, and they can take your path to close in on that gap to heal you. That way you don't get that second or 2 second delay where you got no heals.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess it depends on how deep you want to get to. Like, if we're looking for a full route, maybe one of you guys could even Comets and blink and try to get almost second level for the impales and shit. And then go immune.
Yeah, you may want to
can see
pick
what
up
you're saying.
the Oromancy's Liberation is a really good defensive skill. Because what I do is when I'm gonna go in, I pop Liberation and I pop Redoubt, and I get the Magic Shield too from if I use those abilities together. And then I'll run in and shrug it off, and then I'll use Vicious Implosion and then all my CC stuff, and then like once they're stunned, I pop the Stillness so they're all silenced. And then Thwart and all that shit. I just try and throw it all my AoEs as quickly as possible. But the increased all that the magic defense and stuff you get from Liberation and Redoubt together is really, really helpful. I notice the difference a lot when I have those skills on cooldown and I have to initiate. It's like I die way faster.
Okay, so definitely keep Liberation up then.
Yeah.
So get rid of the 6 passive, grab Liberation instead.
Yeah.
And you do feel Stillness is worth it instead of having 1,000 more life?
I don't know. I honestly I haven't not used Stillness yet, right? Like, but I know like when I get silenced by that stuff, like it totally fucks me up. Like,
because see what I do, I use Boastful Roar, which will shaken and silence some of them. So when I Tiger Strike in Implode, I do my Whirlwind now Boastful Roar, and that's an AoE. I know it's only 4 meters, something like that. AoE around everyone around me. That affects anyone I've sucked in.
yeah, I didn't even actually. I
thought Boastful Roar was single target.
No, anyone in that area. You know the little circle that comes up? It'll affect every one of them. You got to have someone targeted to get it off. It's not something you can just spam like an AoE, but it'll impact everyone around you.
you go when you dive into them, you hit both like your Vicious Implosion, then you impale them, then you go into like Boastful Roar for like the maximum out of like what you possibly can do out of that.
Yeah, that's what I try to get from my
throws,
rotation.
yeah.
One thing I would love us all to try work on, for especially the Skull Knight. So when Tank's going in first, I've been trying to use Tank if he's there.
I'm there.
Sorry guys, my little man is in the bath.
It's all good.
Hey, so have you guys you see the damage? So here's our backbone of the real reason these are so effective. You got the gap closers that are unbelievable, but it's realistically your hell spear. So what we need to get better at is, so if I say, okay, everyone on tanks our initiator, you guys want to give about a 5 to 6 yard radius around tank. We realistically need to stacking on tank, and he's the only one that should be using vicious implosion, except for the odd maybe abolisher that's tiger striking, and we're not really sure where we're going to end up because he implodes, and that you can't use vicious implosion again. So tank will blink in, he implodes, does the spears, and then we're all on top of him. Spear. I mean, you're going to melt everyone that he just grabbed. Yeah, everyone he just sucked in will die instantly if we've got 4 Skull Knights. That's what I'm looking for, is that we just chunk out a big front part of their line, then we back up. Wait for spears again, chunk out another big line. That's what I mean. How's that working for you guys? Have you guys noticed?
Well, hey Danny, this is like what I can also say about it is like, you know, if you stay like pretty close, like, you know, kind of like make a small like kind of wall line as you like go in, and because since Hell Spears has no max cap on like how many targets it can hit, if we're like maybe, you know, a foot beside each other and we vicious and load everyone, that's gonna maximize like kind of how many people all of us can hit at the same time with our impalements. Like, you know, if we're like abruptly put apart, we wipe out a much greater number instead of just one guy that's pulling.
Yeah, I'd like to get more, like, because if one person's only imploding, you only get like 10 or so people.
You only
like,
get that one
so everyone just keep doing it regardless. Yeah. Not fair enough.
We gotta
try and have like
a little bit. Yeah,
the only thing I'm fearful of is you really want to try get is some impales on the same target, and I know I'm talking healers as well to get Skewer working with us, but you only have 1.5 seconds to get your impale off on top of, or Hell Spears on top of whoever's around you to really get the combo.
That's why I would like the most instance that we should be roughly apart from anyone. Like, say if there's 5 of us, at that point we should only be maybe about 0.5 to a max near like away from each other, because that way, like, you know, it's a 6 range on Hell Speed, so that will maximize like how much potential damage that we can potentially hit a whole crowd. All pull a whole front line into all of us, and then we hit them with Hell Speed.
Just hard to coordinate. A lot of
stuff. It takes a while. It's not one of those things that's gonna come like bang on the second, but like, you know, it comes with anything. You do it enough times, our coordination's gonna be there. Like, we don't really have to, like, once we say we're gonna initiate, people knows that it's gonna take about 2.5 seconds. Everyone starts floating on people, follow up the healthier combo, and it's eventually gonna come down to that point. It just takes a while.
Well, it's the start of every raid. Like, when we just need to mark all the Skull Knights need to have some kind of mark so they can visually see how far away they are from each other, and like when they're initiating, because it's kind of hard to tell. Usually only like a few of us that have a mark, but there is a lot of initiators.
I know. I keep trying to say by Danny, but it's kind of hard sometimes when there's like a lot of reds and whatnot, and I can't tell like where like any of the other guys are. So I only say by the one that's marked for the most part, and that's usually Danny or the one other guy, and that's it.
Hey, question on that. Is there any reason we don't just put all the Skull Knights in the same group?
Realistically, we really should have like all like the you know, frontliners and things, and not all in one group, because that way it's easier for us to see like, you know, where they're at. Because I was trying to find out who exactly was like on the raid list that was actually going in between us, and I can only see like maybe 1 or 2 on the list.
Yeah, having the raid organized would make a big difference, like just the groups organized. Sometimes we do that, and sometimes we don't.
Well, I didn't know if we set the groups up the way we did for a specific reason, because we seem to do an initiator, 1 healer, and then the rest just DPS. I didn't know if there was a reason behind that.
Yeah, what I probably suggest, so like if like whoever like is gonna invite everyone in the raid, what I suggest probably do beforehand is the Skull Knights, initiators, healers, and other people, like, you know, that we're putting designated in certain groups. So like, you know, we're gonna have like healers with like, you know, 3 archers. Then make a group first, and then accept the raid bite. That way it cuts down on organization and all that shit first. Like, a lot faster. Like, you know, we can get everyone in categorized in the raid system, and they're having enough man to move them around.
Having a party of Reapers with the Skull Knights is really good too.
What's a Reaper?
Reaper is a shadow play occultism sorcery. The AoE class. So once the Skull Knights go in, the Reapers can TP to them or anyone that they sucked in. They can TP like right after they get rooted, and then they can just AoE, and everyone will just die.
Yeah, I heard that, and I agree 100%. We've talked in the officers, and that's why I love Helia does a phenomenal job with it. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. She does a really good job organizing the groups. We're trying to get marks on all initiators' heads, and I've asked out of all raid leaders or whoever's running the raid. It makes it way easier if we get those organized. So
We used to run Neck Rage. I was in a Torrential. He was a Skull Knight, and then we'd have a few Reapers, and then we'd dive in. He'd dive in the whole enemy raid, and then the Reapers would jump on him, and then they'd just AoE.
I don't even know if we have any Reapers.
We actually have a few. But another good class.
Any AoE class really is beneficial. I even think all healers with Vitalism should be running Skewer.
Not just Reaper, but to be honest, Nightcloak. It's similar to it's pretty much the same thing as called the Skull Knight. Instead of defense, it has Witchcraft, and what you would get out of that is pretty much almost a similar kind of skills, and those guys can follow in behind us and hit people with the exact same kind of combo, but also follow up with like Yehuda's Breath and whatnot. The Yehuda's fucking water skill there, which is the hardest hidden magic skill in the game, and that can also push enemies back after we're done our combos. They can come and do the same thing and push them back, and then we got that kind of push and pull kind of going on.
I think, honestly, if we telecall initiate, Meteor should be already starting the cast. You guys blink in, and then dagger spells can even play a part in that. Imagine that. They drop a Meteor, they blink up, or backdrop up, and they do their Chain Lightning to Hoodas and can back up. Like, there's so many classes that can add so much to that. I mean, Primeval can even concuss with shot Rain of Arrows the second we call it. It's just, right now, for me, the initiators were the Skull Knights, Abolishers, and anyone else. I mean, I don't count Defilers. They just don't have gap closers. Anyone that's tanky enough to get the gap closer and be there to support the Skull Knights, the initiating core is what's going to make or break, in my honest to God opinion, our success in a raid. We need as many as I would take 20% initiators any day of the week.
Well, that's
as far as my raid.
You want out of like a raid kind of deal. You want to have your frontliners, because without the frontliners, like, you know, if they rush into your guys, they're going to get wrecked. You got no frontliners to give them that breathing room.
So what's I appreciate everyone jumping in here, man. What other suggestions do we have, and what suggestions do you guys have to educate the rest of the guild on their roles? What about our AoE DPS? What about, honestly, for me, Dark Runners and Shadow Blades needed to sit in the back. Like, I keep getting asked all the time, like, what should I be doing? I'm like, realistically, you're there to protect our healers. You don't do anything frontline.
I mean, what Dark Runners can do is sit in stealth and then lasso targets that overstep. That's usually what I've been doing when I'm protecting the raid.
Yeah, they're like our cleanup crew. Anyone's in the back line, Dark Runners, Shadow Play, they should be wrecking those.
Yeah.
Like dagger spells and whatnot, they're more along the lines of your infiltration group. Like, you know, you got your frontliners, the ones that are supposed to be like in the front, taking all the damage and whatnot. You got everyone else that's in the back kind of deal. Those guys should be able to target off, like, you know, where the enemy's healers are and shit like that as well, kind of deal, and hit them with meteors and cause chaos with meteors and all that shit. Instead of just sitting there, for the most part, they should have two roles, which is protect everyone else from all on the line. So, like, you know, from getting rushed from behind and shit.
I have a question. Have you guys had good results using Retribution and occultism?
Any what?
It's good results using Retribution.
It's pretty good.
The physical damage reflex.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those skills you don't really notice, but I think it's worth picking up. I would definitely put it in mind. It's something you want to pop right before you blink in. You know what I mean? Along with the one that
read out
crit,
and other stuff. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's one you're not gonna. It's not a significant difference, but I think it does more than you think.
I
think of Retribution like this: if there was a mystical world where all of our raids went perfectly every time, there'd be no use for it, right? Because we'd be Hellspearing all the time, and then we'd blink out. But what about Mana Push? I think Mana Push is if the Skull Knight is skilled at 1, clicking targets, 2, recognizing who other healers are. Just mana push their healers too far away from the front line.
Oh, the mana force?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was single target or area.
It's single target.
Yeah.
Dagger spells, you sit in the back and you're simply as soon as I call initiate, you're dropping every AoE you could. You got chain lightning, Dahuta's breath, meteors. I mean, whatever combo dagger spell wants to work, obviously that's up to you. But there's a lot of dagger spell can bring, certainly.
Like, the only thing I'll say about retribution to maximize, like, say a reflect point kind of deal set was to actually like get the GHA like one step there from for plate mail. And what that does, it will give you a chance, like, it has a passive on it that allows you to constantly always reflect 6% of melee damage back on top of melee attackers. And then if you have retribution with that, that's an additional chunk that they'll be smacking themselves for.
That sounds good. I'm just not trying to take that damage to begin with.
Yeah.
Even though I will.
Well, if you're a front liner, you're going to take it here regardless, for the most part.
So a question for you on the dagger spell setup, or is it specifically for the drop back?
Drop back's good, and
joined your
and the
channel.
shadow stuff, or whatever you call it. Because you can use it on your ally, so...
Dagger spell is more along the lines they're supposed to dip in and out without enemies being able to see them and kill an enemy quick. If you can't kill them before you can, like, before they can see you, for the most part, you're probably usually going to die for the most part, because they just turn around, and since you're squishy, they're going to turn around and kill you. Like, especially in a huge group of battle, you're going to die really fast.
So we're talking about mass PvP, though, PvP on a huge scale, right?
Yeah, like, if you ever done freeage, like with us,
Raid PvP.
Oh, no,
Right.
I've been to all those, yeah, I've done quite a bit
like,
of
I'm
PvP
just
with the
saying,
guild.
like, in those kind of, like, concepts, like, dagger spells, they're not really the greatest when it comes to mass PvP, because you can't really get close enough to do too much stuff by yourself without being single targeted out by, like,
Right, so
all
that
50 archers.
That's where the question was kind of arising. Since we're going for more of a mass PvP setup, wouldn't you want something more like spell singers and things of that nature that when they drop the meteor are just going to level people?
That's, yes. Also, another
Well, you
good
keep in
class-
mind, we have other people running Bloody Channy, so you don't need to be the spell singer to get the increase. Is that where you're coming from?
Well,
with
no,
that?
the spell singer build, when you build it up right and you run through the tree on the other side, Songcraft side, you end up with Zeal. So you end up with the N-tier mage abilities and then also the N-tier Songcraft abilities, which is Zeal. If you get a Zeal proc as a sorcerer with all its end abilities, you're just going to absolutely wreck somebody when you hit them with anything.
How do you get the Zeal proc?
It just procs randomly.
Based off?
Any damage you do. So you lightning a group, you're almost guaranteed to get a Zeal proc. And then that means your next meteor is pretty much going to just absolutely crush everyone.
User joined your channel.
Yeah, I can't wait till the, like, you think the Skull Knight's good now. Can you imagine when the 55 patch comes out? And
Oh, dirty, dude.
You know what I haven't really noticed is any really good red initiators. Like us. I have never seen a red initiate as well as
they have.
doing them.
Like,
What is this? I am stuck in deep freeze for over 15 seconds. Is that broke? What just happened there?
No.
Yeah,
no.
it's happening to me.
That's
too.
real?
That's
It
real.
can happen.
Oh,
I
what are you
just sat there
facing right now?
forever.
Yeah. Oh, is he like backstepping on you and whatnot?
No. Some guy from up on the bridge. I apologize, guys. I just never seen that. I literally, in my bond breaker wasn't up, so I just sat there forever. That was the weirdest thing.
He hit frozen tracks and then he made his frozen arrow instacast.
I can't believe it's that long a CC though.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't got
Okay,
bond
so I
breaker,
didn't mean
you're
to
kind
change
of,
subject. That was
shit
crazy.
out of luck.
Yeah, no sweat. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
How'd those trade rounds go earlier?
Really
better,
good.
but,
Yeah, we went and hit both ports. Over 50 packs turned in per.
Cool. Oh, good.
Yeah, a lot of success can be in the raid is just how aggressive you are, or how aggressive the guild is with initiating. Because, yeah, we just really need to be super aggressive when we initiate.
I just kind of want to talk to you guys, find out if my class is really worth it. I'm playing Dawn Caller, and I found that it's a really good off tank. I just wanted to talk to you guys about it, because I know you guys are going over the initiators.
What does a Dawn Caller bring? I apologize. What are they?
It's Battle Rage, Defense, and Songcraft. Pretty much, I mean, what I can bring, I know I can close kind of the gap with the Tiger Strike, but along with the stun from Songcraft, it goes into my Bull Rush and everything, and also anyone affected by that, I can throw down my heal, and they're going to get hurt while I'm healing the guys around me.
User joined your channel.
So it's almost like you would go in alongside the initiators?
Yeah, and try and
you're-
keep the...
you're
I
second
would
line.
deliver a little bit of healing to them. At the same time, I'm going to be pretty tanky and be able to support them. So, I don't know if it's that relevant, though.
I don't think it would synergize very well in the front lines with your Battle Rage.
I don't have too much Battle Rage. I mostly use it for the Lasso and Tiger Strike. And what else did I have on it? And Bond Breaker, so.
There's a really good Templar build that seems like it would be a good sort of tanky, healy build to have.
That's what I use for PvE.
Yeah, I feel like a Templar up there could help keep the other initiators alive a lot longer.
Yeah.
Tomb Wardens, I think, would be okay to go in with the Skull Knights. Tomb Warden is a Songcraft defense Auramancy.
Oh. I was leveling up Auramancy a bit.
Say that one again. What's the Tomb Warden?
Songcraft defense Auramancy. They have the pulse, like the initiate and the pulse like Skull Knights, but they have Songcraft instead. When they
What
sing,
can Songcraft bring, like for as far as AoE damage?
Bulwark Ballad. If you have someone charmed.
Are you talking like just to support us, the initiators?
Yeah, if it has someone charmed, it decreases physical and magic defense by 50%.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be cool having like a dedicated Songcraft who comes to the front lines with us and keep all those buffs up.
Is Blackguard any good?
What is that again? I remember something like that being...
Battle Rage, Occultism, Vitalism?
How good is the Spirit stat?
It's good for healing.
Well, I'm talking about because it does health regen, mana regen, and does magical defense. And if we're all in plate, we have high Spirit. Would that not make us a tank for both sides?
I think you're better off just Luna Gemming for magic defense than trying to stack Spirit, because then you're just not going to do any damage.
I mean, it's not bad to have, but then you don't have to have it.
Okay. I'm just curious.
But I'm a Templar too, so I would love more Spirit.
How would I link a build?
Spirit, even for healers, Spirit doesn't seem like that big a deal because it's a very small boost.
Did someone ask how you link a build? Just do it in TeamSpeak chat. Just if you got it pulled up on Archfish, just copy and paste it in the TeamSpeak chat.
Alright, yeah, I'll show you guys kind of what I was talking about with that spell slinger.
So, okay, for the Tomb Warden, what kind of stuff from Auramancy would you guys take?
The same thing as a Skull Knight, just the pulls, and then the anti-CC.
Oh, which one are
But
those?
I think Bulwark Ballad would be really good.
Oh, adding that to the Songcraft part?
Bulwark Ballad and Bloody Chancy.
For fuck's sake.
But then you have to have them charmed though, so.
Well, yeah, I have the Startling Strain. That's what charms them initially. So that's what I'm bringing in. And then charm targets with my 2 recovery, they take 153 to 179 damage per second.
User left your channel.
Ooh.
So
I would go something like this.
Now you're posting a build?
Yep, for Tim.
I'll check it out 1 second.
I posted a dervish, but if you say spirit's not that good, then that kind of puts what I wanted to do
not
down.
bad to have, but you don't actually need it that much.
Well, a dervish is battle rage, witchcraft, and vitalism, and it's a lot of anti-CC.
You don't like
and tankiness.
You don't really need like a lot of spirit. What you can possibly do is just get a decent like healing item, and that's it. Just get some. Like, if you got push over like 200 to 300 healing, you're practically set.
Microphone muted.
But yeah, that thing.
Speak up, whoever that was. I could barely hear you.
Sorry, give me a second.
This is Boom Sauce. I'm actually half deaf.
Microphone activated.
Oh, what I said is, if you're rocking some sort of like form of healing, all you really need is like roughly 200 to 300 healing, for the most part. So like, once you can get like a decent healing, like one-handed kind of healing, if you get to achieve that, if you're trying to go with some sort of healing in that, like to give you something a little bit more survivability, especially if you rock say defense and vitalism at the same time. Because if you also use the Vitalized Cheer from Boastful Roar, with about with over about 200 healing, you can heal yourself for about 5,000 to 7,000 just by that alone.
I was looking at doing the Skewer and a Tiger Strike, a Boastful Roar, and the Banshee's Wail to feel fear. Kind of like just do a bunch of disruption.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, Skewer has a long cast time.
Banshee's Wail is instacast.
It's instant.
It's an AoE.
The Skewer.
No,
yeah, that's why I said Skewer was first. Like when Danny says, "All right, time to go in," start casting Skewer on a group, and then Tiger Strike that group.
Well, yeah, the thing is about that, the time like you're done casting that, they're probably going to be dead from the first line initiator.
I think you should, before they go in, you should wait till everyone got pulled into the Skull Knight.
Then skewer them, and then go in?
And then skewer them. Or you should start casting where the Skull Knight's going to be.
Okay. I'm gonna run Skull Knight. I'm leveling up everything so I can be whichever one.
For the most part, I'll probably say if you're gonna be like skewering afterwards, I'll probably say rock a paladin overall instead. Like,
what's a paladin?
Battle Rage, defense, and vitalism. Because that way, if you're not if you're the castier while the other initiators are like running forward, because that way you can castier, dive in afterwards with Tiger Strike and whatnot to continue the disrupt.
Right. Okay. So a paladin is not a bad spec.
Paladin's actually pretty damn good. Like it's think of it as like you're a heal tank for the most part. That's exactly what you are.
Okay.
So Templar Paladin both are heal tanks.
Yeah.
All right.
But you don't really need to go like really deep into the vitalism tree.
Okay.
Like you really only need like maybe.
Did you do a build real quick and post it and say boom here's this build?
Go to arcbase.com, arche-base.com. You can search in there, man. It's got a ton.
Yeah, like I'll show you stuff that I was like rocking kind of deal for like PvP for my paladin. I really do like paladin. It's one thing that I want to do when I get the gear for it. But like.
And Templar and Paladin and the heal tanks, they would be rocking like a shield and club, right?
Well, yeah, like Paladin, they're more along the lines of a berserk healer. Like they're a front liner that deals damage.
So it's not a two-hand?
You can rock a two-hand.